We're live.
And we're live.
As Matt would say. It's Friday, May the 6th. 6 de Mayo, as some people call it. 2 o'clock p.m. Matt's not here today. He is in the mountains. No, actually, he's on a plane right now. On his way back. But
Destination OG.
Yep.
Finding a house.
Either last week, no, it was 2 weeks ago when Matt wasn't here. And we had some employees come through and ask him some questions, which worked out really well. People enjoyed getting to know. There were a couple of people like Brad and Tommy here who we didn't get to spend as much time with maybe as we wanted, so we're going to chat with them a little bit today.
I was on for like a half hour, to be honest.
Half an hour? You think so?
You were on for a lot. You had a what rant? Were you on?
Yeah, I talked by myself for 10 minutes straight, if you remember that.
But, yeah.
This is good. I'm already getting some good questions here. And we already got a super chat. See, we don't even need Matt for this. All right, let's see here. We'll go to the super chat here from Improved Garage, our buddy. Everyone I've ever worked with at OG has been fantastic, but somehow Ed W. manages to stand out. He's responsive, fast, and has great accuracy and communication skills. Buy the guy some lunch on me. Thanks, Ed. Nice. There we go, Ed.
Nice. Yeah, Ed's been killing it. He's doing really well.
Okay, so Tommy, this is where we'll let you kind of enlighten us a little bit. So first of all, quick reminder on what you do here, and then tell us about Ed and what Ed does, since Improved Garage brought that up.
Sure. So I'm the director of product development, and so all the products you see on the website, I guess I'm responsible for getting those on the website and organized how they are. And Ed doesn't really, work under me. He works under Kyle, but I work with the garage design team quite a bit because we go hand in hand. Kyle and his team, design garages using the products that we offer. So we work together all the time. But yeah, I mean, Ed's great. He's really a go-getter, and he responds to customers really well and has a good understanding of, what to ask and what people's needs are. And Kyle's done a good job in working with both of the guys, him and Sean, and further developing that team and offering a cool product to people.
Nice. Okay. I want to get to a question. Brad may know the answer to this one.
Okay.
When are you getting in the Ego 765? I want to buy one. It's from Jeffrey Robert in the chat.
We're going to move that to Tommy once again.
Yep.
Yeah, they're coming. So we have an order placed for all of the Ego blowers. So it's just a matter of them getting here, and then we'll launch them on the site, and we'll be ready to go. We are going to do some testing to kind of see which one would be the best out of their entire offering. Matt's initial gut instinct was the 580. He said it has a more direct airflow, and he felt like it dried the car better. I personally have the 765, and I think the opposite. I think that one's the best. So yeah, we'll do some testing. We got some testing instruments to kind of measure the performance, and we'll see which one is the best for car drying and whatever.
All right, excellent. So let's get to a question here. Or actually, somebody was asking about the house here. Did Matt buy a house yet? AFH wants to know. No, he's not bought a house yet. Chris Toda, our own Chris Toda, says the day one house trip video will be up tomorrow that shows the homes he is currently looking at. So that'll be released tomorrow. And I watched that video today. No, he does not actually buy a house in the video, but he does take you and show you some of the ones that they like, and then some of the ones that maybe they don't end up liking after all. Matt is known for occasionally ranting on the podcast, says Greg Hansel. Can we expect a rant from the rest of the team?
That's probably where I come in.
Yeah, Brad likes to rant. Brad's a good ranter.
Did we intro what this series is, by the way, Chris?
No, we have not yet.
So
go ahead.
I think Mike T came up with this idea. So we've fielded a lot more questions over the last few months about the team. It's growing so much. So I think 2 years ago, around this time, there was probably 10 people. Chris, would you say? Maybe a little bit more? Yeah. Maybe 10 people will say. And so now we're at like 25. And so there's so much more team that goes around Obsessed Garage now than just Matt. Of course, Matt is still a big part of it. And so we're starting a series, and it's going to be completely inside the heck. So this is a single episode, I guess the first episode in a series of really the whole team. And so we've got a whole warehouse team, 8 of us. We've got over in the yarn building, I think there's like 12 of us at this point. Going through each of these people, what you do, what are our interests, what do we like, how did we get here? That's a big one. So the majority of the people that work here, I'd say 80% of us came from around the country, not just, you were in Boise. I came here from Denver. Chris came all the way from Ocala. It was a big hike. And so
It's a long
this
walk
is the beginning of a whole series here, which we're kind of previewing, I guess a little bit out of happenstance because Matt is out, so it's just kind of worked out.
Okay, so let me get to a couple things here. Greg, following up on his rant request, Chris seems like the type who holds in the frustration. It's very observant of you, Greg. That's correct. And then on my drive home, I let it all out on.
Just screams.
Yeah.
The windows up, complete silence, and he just yells as loud as he can.
Yep. People probably aren't as bad a driver as I believe they are, but I've got pent-up frustration there. So,
Yeah.
All right, let's see. Soothe and Relax says, hey, Chris, how's it being CFO of OG with all of Maddie's spending habits? That's a good question. You know, I'm technically the CFO. I have a lot of other things that I do. But on wearing that hat, it does get frustrating sometimes because we have plans. I told these guys recently on a call we had, Matt came into my office on a Friday. He's like, all right, we're going to do this. We're going to pay this off. We're going to do this. We're going to do this. And I was like, okay, excellent. I'm on board with this. This is going to be good for us. And then Monday morning, he's like, scrap all of that. And I just bought a new trailer, and there's a Porsche that I just ordered. I'm like, oh, man. But that's part of the gig. It's not like I was surprised when I took the gig because I know Matt pretty well. Let's see. Is the team allowed to wear non-OG branded shirts to work?
Yeah.
Yeah,
people do all the time.
Yeah, I think when we show up, we get 5 shirts, right?
Mhm.
So you
5 on day one.
Kind of just makes sense, right? People will wear other stuff all the time. No big deal.
Yeah, and people kind of make fun of me a bunch because it's literally all I wear is
Mhm.
t-shirts. But in my mind, why else would I wear anything else? Because one, I'm repping, a company, and then 2, like, they're so comfortable.
And
If you don't
here,
have-
you're
Yeah.
here 14 hours a day. So.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. No, if you don't have an OG shirt, get one. They're amazing.
Yeah, they're really good. All right, home of the obsessed. Here's a question for Tommy. Then I'm going to get to some of our pre-selected questions that people helped us form. Hey, Tommy, where do you see yourself in 5 years? That's a heavy question from home of the obsessed here.
Yeah, 5 years. That's a tough one.
He'll be 27 years old.
No, I'll be a little bit older than that. What am I? 26 right now. So yeah, I'll be 31 in my 30s.
Right?
Geez.
Yeah, you'll be.
Yeah.
It's older than Brad right now.
Yeah. 5 years. I imagine my department will be quite a lot bigger. Kyle kind of came into garage design, not even a year ago now? And he's already got 3 people. And so I imagine I'll be probably pretty close behind him in getting people. Because one of the focuses that we want, especially with Destination OG coming aboard, is to really ramp up product, launching new products. And so, yeah, I imagine I'll have, a small team of really hardworking guys, and we'll be launching products left and right. And then by that time, new products come out, in industry all the time. So I think it's important to kind of go back through what we offer and see if there's anything better and look to improve.
We got a super chat here, $4.99 US from Christopher Baker. A little late today. Forgive me if it was asked. Are you guys going to be looking for more staff this year?
Yeah. We're hiring pretty much constantly.
Yeah.
So what we've been doing over the last probably year is just about everybody comes in to technical support. So we hire for technical support. We're not hiring for someone to come in and do something else. We're hiring you for a role in technical support. But what we found is it gives people a really good view of the whole business.
Yep.
You get an idea of what the customers are like. Get an idea of what's going wrong. That's a big one too. And so you get to see a lot of tickets about things that aren't going right. You learn how to troubleshoot the products. And so obviously most of what we sell here is a product. And
Yep.
what we find is we've had people come in through technical support, like Lewis is in more of a creative role now. We've got people that go into more, Kyle was our, I guess, support lead, but at the time the support guy 2 years ago, and now he's running the whole garage design department. So we found that funneling people through there gives them a clear understanding of what we sell.
Yeah. The
Which
analogy,
is good.
Yeah. The analogy we like to use is like going to college. Like you
Go to OG college.
Yeah, OG college, yeah. But yeah, like Brad said, you learn so much. And so like for me, I mean, I went through that same path. I started in warehouse, then moved up to technical support, and I don't know how long I stayed in technical support, but I learned a lot. And I don't know, it helps you train if you're not like that way thinking in terms of like problem solving. It kind of makes you problem solve. And so, yeah, it's just a good place for people to kind of land. And then our model so far is kind of come here, and then we'll figure out what you're good at and make a spot for you.
We got a guy starting. His name's Ian. He's going to be starting in late May. And then I have an intern coming.
Yeah.
I guess we have an intern coming next week.
Mm-hmm.
So that's another thing that we've been leaning into more is internship. So if some of you younger guys out there just send us an email if you want an internship, and we may have room for you now. We may not have room for you till next summer or the fall or something, but just send an email to support at Obsessed Garage, and we're kind of leaning into that a little bit more, which is cool.
Yeah, definitely.
All right, quick question here about stock, because a couple of people have asked about this. Yaman, hi guys, I'm looking to buy the Active portable accessory package. It's been out of stock for a while now. Any idea when it'll be back in stock? I think the inlet hose is what we're waiting on, right?
Active portable, yeah, it would be the inlet hoses. Inlet hoses are hard. They've been hard to get for a while. I know for a while there's like a yarn shortage, so yarn like in the garden hoses, to make the garden hoses.
The nylon, right?
Yeah, nylon or something, yeah. And there's been a shortage of that. So Continental, who makes the garden hose, they just don't have any.
All right, here's a question I think will lead to something that Brad has some info on from Guy B32 in the chat. Inside the Hex is such a great platform. Idea. How about an OG roundtable at the end of the year to discuss growth, challenges, and the future within a team discussion or panel of individuals?
That's funny.
Yeah, we, I don't know if you saw that. So if you're a member of Inside the Hex, maybe you don't have Facebook, so this could be an issue. So some of where we do our community building is through Facebook. So we have an Inside the Hex specific Facebook group. So we have the Obsessed Garage Facebook group that there's, 50,000 of you. And then we have a specific one just for Inside the Hex members. And so what we're doing is actually we're doing a roundtable. I want to say May 17th. So it's coming up.
Correct. 17th at 8 p.m.
8 p.m. Eastern time. So there's information in the Facebook group to sign up for that. So what we're planning on doing is a quarterly series with that, where what we'll do is Matt, myself, Chris will talk for, 10, 15 minutes and then break people out into focus groups, we'll say, because, you've probably been on a Zoom call with 30, 40 people. It's not tenable. You can't really do that. And so we're going to have kind of a speaking period, right, where Matt will talk about a specific topic. We'll talk about a specific topic, and then we'll kind of break you guys out to, talk about the topic, but really meet each other. And what we originally came up with for this idea is for our YouTube channel, there's obviously all kinds of YouTube channels. We'll say LZ and his fans skew a little bit younger, skew a little bit more, let's say Hot Boys, right? And all, especially on YouTube, it skews a lot younger. Obsessed Garage's audience more so than I think most will skew older and skew, just for lack of a better word, a little more successful and a little more refined. And so what I kind of came about, especially, that's true for our YouTube followers. That's especially true for our Inside the Hex group. Mm-hmm. It's a pay to enter group. That's kind of a natural progression of that. And so what kind of happened is I was in our Inside the Hex Facebook group, and I just asked a question to the audience, and I said, hey, we're having trouble shipping batteries. And so I know that companies have figured this out. We get batteries shipped to us, but we were having a few of them kick back. We couldn't really figure out why. And so we had called UPS and we'd done some Googling, and it just wasn't really working. So I just reached out to the group and I said, hey, does anybody have any information on how to ship out a battery? And one of our members said, yeah, here, talk to this guy. So we put us in with a consultant, and I'm, seriously, 3-4 days later, we're shipping batteries to Europe, right? Our big issue is those high torque guns. There's a big appetite for those in like Dubai, big appetite for those in Switzerland, right? Where people have tons of Porsches and McLarens and whatever. And so it just got me thinking that, okay, if I can that quickly go into our Facebook group and get professional level help for me was at the time unsolvable problem that someone in that group had a very clear understanding of how to solve, I'm probably not the only one. And there's probably other people that are in adjacent industries that will put them in a focus group, and they might be friends for life, right? So I don't want to call it a perk of being an Inside the Hex member, because it really shouldn't be a perk. It's kind of it should almost be part of when you're in a premium group like that, but it's not always the case. And so I want to make sure that we are connecting. It's not just us feeding information to the group, but it's the group feeding information to each other, which I think is really valuable. And so just from my own experience there, I thought, okay, if I can do that and get my information, you guys can too. So let me circle back around. We're having a Inside the Hex roundtable in May. If you want information on it, head to the Inside the Hex Facebook group. And for those of you that don't have Facebook, I don't either. I have one account and I'm a member of 2 groups. So just do it. Just make a quick account, use your email address, sign up for 2 groups. Yeah. Mr. Zuckerberg already has your information. I'm sorry, whether you like it or not, he's already got it. So
There you go. May 17th, 8 p.m. Eastern. And yeah, that's it's a good way for us to communicate with people, but then also to put other people in touch with other people. Almost like a mastermind of sorts for those of you who are familiar with that term. Just to connect people who need some help connecting. All right, let's see here. Tommy, we have someone's proposing an idea to you here for a solution.
Okay.
Can OG come up with a wall mount solution for ego blowers? Someone else suggested there's already a wall mountable. There's a hole, but then that didn't work as well because it gets heavy. So there you go. Add that to your very long short list.
A wall-mounted ego blower?
No, come up with a wall mount thingy
Like storage?
To hold
to put
it?
the ego blower on.
Oh, okay.
Correct.
I haven't really thought about that.
Yeah, it's been asked a couple times on the podcast before, and someone noted that there is a little hole already in there that you just need a
For
screw.
nail, or screw, yeah.
Yeah.
It
But-
could be useful too, because obviously our members, not our members, but some of our customers just grab it by the nozzle and just spin it around a lot until it falls off. So it could be useful
Yeah.
so people can grab it by the handle.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah.
Oh.
That's a good idea.
I'm gonna get in trouble for that.
No, I think most people that have yard equipment have that like slat thing that goes on the wall that you put the hooks into the channels and kind of just hang it on that type of stuff. But yeah, if something dedicated for the ego blower might not be a bad idea.
All right, I'm gonna go to some of these questions here. So the questions that I'm about to read are questions that, first of all, that our staff came up with, and then second of all, I actually posted yesterday in the Inside the Hex group on Facebook, and they came up with some really good questions as well. So let's see here. Let me get to one. We'll start with an easy one, and I already know the answer, hopefully, to this question. But sweet or unsweet tea? Tommy, you first.
Sweet tea, definitely.
Brad?
Neither.
Brad's not a tea guy.
No.
Okay. Yeah, that's actually one of the questions on the application here at OG. And if you answer unsweet, we don't hire you because that's disgusting.
No, I will say I don't really drink it that much, but
Right.
like, if you're gonna pick tea, you want it to be sweet. Like, why would you want bitter? Like, it's the
I
same
think
thing.
there's a large chunk of the world that would disagree with that.
Yeah.
It's like seltzer water, though. Like, to me, that doesn't make sense. It tastes. Manny's tried explaining this to me. There's no aftertaste. But when you've been conditioned your entire life to expect sweet aftertaste, and then there's no aftertaste, it tastes bitter and gross.
Okay.
There you
So
go.
no go on club soda. I'm sorry, Manny.
All right, thank you. Good. Let's see, that was an easy one. We'll start you off with an easy one. All right, second question here. Let's see. This is, I wish I could attribute this to a person, but I don't have the group up right now. When it comes to steak, Manny and I discussed this a couple weeks ago. So first of all, your favorite cut of steak and how do you like it cooked? Brad, you're up first this time.
Yeah, I'm a ribeye guy. Rare, a little more than rare. I think people that eat it fully rare, they're kind of asking for trouble in the long term, right? You're gonna
Trouble.
get tripped up eventually, right? So a little more cooked than rare. I like ribeye. There's actually a steakhouse, you may have been there, in Winter Garden. It's called Matthew's Steakhouse. It's very, very good. And so when I first moved here, I drove by it, and we actually walked in. And I was in like flip flops or something. And in Colorado, you can go anywhere very, very casually. You don't have, there's no dress code. So I walk in, it's almost like the record stops, right? And everybody turns around. I'm in flip flops and this T-shirt. And so they're like, okay, what time's your reservation? I was like, oh, I guess I don't have one. They're like, okay, well, you'll need a call. We book about 3 weeks in advance. So I'm there in my flip flops. I'm like, okay, I think I've made a mistake here. But so I went home. I learned from my mistake. I called them. It's a really good steak. Matthew's in Winter Garden.
Matthew's.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Highly recommend. It's actually owned by a German family, and the whole family. So the dad's on the grill, wife's in the back. There's like a sous chef. Kids are all waiters, and I say kids. They're 35 years old. So it's a cute little thing they got going on there.
That's cool.
All right, Tommy.
I can't pronounce the word, but filet mignon.
Okay.
Is how you say it, right?
Yeah, that's close enough.
Yeah.
People understand.
That's my favorite.
Filet.
one.
Just say filet. Don't even
Yeah,
worry about the
filet.
second word.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah. So I'll do that. Yeah.
Okay.
Every time I order that, the waitress looks at me. It's like,
Yeah, just say
"What's your
filet.
problem?"
They know what you're talking
Yeah.
about. And then
yeah, medium. I like
medium. Okay.
Yep.
Good answer.
Yeah.
I'm also a ribeye guy. Medium. I don't like messing with rare or close to that. Brad in the chat here, different Brad. Pacific Northwest Brad says ribeye blue rare, which I think is just searing it basically. And then he also unfortunately says sweet tea is gross. Well,
I think I'm with him. I never understood it. Of course, I've tried it a ton of times.
Yeah.
I grew up in the South. I just never understood it.
Yeah. I like Arnold Palmer's. Those are good. With the
Okay.
lemonade mixed in.
yeah.
Yeah.
How do you feel about Shirley Temples, Tommy?
I don't know what that is. I don't.
That's Sprite and grenadine.
Gotcha.
Never mind.
Sorry.
That's what you get when you go to a bar and you don't want to drink. You have a Shirley Temple.
Gotcha. I don't go to bars, so.
No. They probably make you one wherever they make your Arnold Palmer as well.
There you go.
All right, let's see here. Max says there's a woodworking YouTuber that has built a hook system for the Ego. Okay, that's worth looking into. Oh, now everybody, Wagyu Tomahawk medium rare. Okay. New York strip tartare. Ugh. Tartare is just like, I don't even think they cook it.
Yeah, you want to talk about rare. I mean, that's like ground beef just straight out of the package.
Oof. Yeah, you guys.
A little bit of seasoning. I think that's one of those acquired tastes, where it's like a gateway drug if like a ribeye is a nice regular drug, like something like tartare is crack, It's where you've had so much steak you need like something crazier to get your fix,
Yeah.
That's what that is.
I could never bring myself to even try anything like that.
I've had it before. It tasted like you're eating ground beef straight from the package. But maybe I'm just not as classy. Maybe that's me.
All right. Along the same lines, Greg Hansel in chat says black coffee or frou-frou coffee with all the add-ons. Tommy, do you drink coffee?
No coffee. I can't even stand the smell.
Okay. Brad?
No coffee.
No coffee. I also no coffee. So Greg, that's 0 for 3 on the coffees. Matt doesn't drink coffee either. Yeah. I just never got into it. I like the smell of it sometimes, but every one I've tried has been gross. It still tastes like coffee to me.
I'll drink whiskey straight, but
yeah.
Don't touch
it's
the
way
coffee.
Better than coffee. Coffee's disgusting. Bryce in the chat says sweet tea and amaretto is a good combo. There you go. That's doubly sweet as well. Dave says, I've been enjoying the extra videos on Inside the Hex. Good. We have more coming, Dave. That's kind of the point here, hopefully. Jeffrey Roberts says, if you're going to go ribeye, you got to do the bone-in ribeye. The bone adds flavor. That is true. James Clark. Chris, what's your go-to bourbon/whiskey after a busy week at OG? Booker's, James. If it's been that kind of week, it's Booker's. Always Booker's. 120-something proof. It's really good. All right. Let's get to a couple of car questions.
That's strong, Chris.
For some folks, yeah. It's like the tartare. You got to work your way up.
Doesn't get you a bellyache afterward?
No. I don't drink the whole bottle. Just a couple sips.
Oh, maybe that's where I'm going wrong.
Yeah. You got to stop when you're halfway done with the bottle. Here's a good question. We'll go to Brad first here. No, actually, I'll go first to give you guys time to think because I know the answer to this. What was your first concert? Someone wanted to know. Mine was the fall of 1996 at 5 Points Music Hall in Birmingham, Alabama. A band called the Presidents of the United States of America. You may recall them for their song, either Lump or Peaches. That was kind of the heyday for them. When they sang Peaches, everyone threw peaches on stage that had brought peaches with them. So I was a freshman in college. I really didn't go to any concerts until then. I've been to a ton since. We had the Presidents of the United States of America. They're no longer together, sadly. That was my first one. All right?
Yeah, I can take it. My first concert was not long after yours, actually, Chris. So 1998, Variety Playhouse, downtown Atlanta. I was 7 years old, 6 or 7 years old, and my dad, he was always into punk. That's what he was into, but he wanted something a little more family friendly. So there was a band called They Might Be Giants in the 90s. They actually did the theme song to Malcolm in the Middle. So, you're talking a little, I don't know, gentle family-friendly rock and roll, right? Not too extreme. Maybe a few curse words here and there, nothing too crazy. But the venue itself is, to this day, it's in a place called 5 Points in Atlanta, Little 5 Points, very, very grungy venue. As an adult, the kind of place that I question my own dad's judgment for taking me there as a 7-year-old. Because I've been there multiple times since, and I never saw a single 7-year-old, right? So I had to have stuck out like a sore thumb. And what I also saw was there was a Jimmy Eat World. You heard that band?
Yeah,
They opened for them, actually.
Nice.
It's a very small venue, so that's a little fun fact. Yeah, it's cool.
Nice. I have terrible memory, but I was younger. I was like a younger kid, probably 11 or 12, I would say, in California. My grandparents took me to a Pink Floyd cover band concert.
Oh, you still love Pink Floyd?
Yeah, I love Yeah, I grew
That's
up
awesome.
on
Your grandparents took you.
Yeah.
Okay. Your mom's parents or your dad's parents?
My dad's parents. Yep.
That's cool.
Yep. Yeah, they used to watch my brother and I. My parents would, take long weekends to get away from us because
Yeah.
I'm sure
understand
we're
that.
wonderful children growing up. My parents never got sick of us ever, and so our grandparents would watch us, and we'd do a bunch of cool stuff over the weekends. They lived in LA, so we went to the Peterson Auto Museum, went to, theme parks.
That's a
just
funny
bunch of
first
different
concert
stuff.
for a kid,
Yeah,
though.
cover band.
Yeah.
Or-
I mean,
You're in the back, like secondhand, Dark Side of the Moon,
Yeah.
going nuts.
Yeah.
It's funny.
I mean, my
were they playing the Wizard of Oz too? When they were
no,
Okay.
they more of the hit songs.
Gotcha.
Yeah, but growing up, I listened to that type of music all the time. It's like old school classic rock.
Excellent. That was a good question. Yeah, people in the chat are chiming in here. Greg Hansel's first concert was In Excess back in 1998. Neil White says the Beastie Boys. That's a good one to start with. And then a couple of people remembered the song Peaches by the Presidents. Yes, I took my kid when he was 7 to see the White Stripes at Madison Square Garden, says Jeffrey. There you go. Interesting. Wow.
That's worse or better. I guess that's all perspective. Worse or better.
Yeah, good question there. All right, this one we actually discussed this a couple times, so I think we have answers by now. So we'll go to Tommy first because I know he has an answer to this one. What's your guilty pleasure song that you might be a little ashamed of?
Yeah. So I scrolled through my Shopify playlist of like
Spotify.
songs. Did I say Shopify?
You got a Shopify
See, I'm
playlist
every
too?
Yeah, I do have one of that
Okay.
too. Yeah, all the bookmarks on the top of Chrome, right? No, sorry, Spotify playlist, and I found like kind of the first embarrassing song, and it was "No Air" by Jordan Sparks, and yeah, it's got a good,
That's a pretty good one,
good
yeah.
tune. Yeah.
Okay. Brad, do you know yours?
Yeah, so I don't have a specific one, but I turned 30 in February, and Chris knows this was a big deal for me. Shortly after turning 30, I had shoulder surgery. I'm falling apart. I'm right at the seams. I'm falling apart. And so another interesting thing happened to me as soon as I turned 30. So I had on FM radio for some reason. Something wasn't working. So I was on a road trip out of FM radio, and then the only radio station was a country music station.
Oh, no.
Okay. So I turned 30.
Uh-oh.
And about an hour in, like, I'm really enjoying this, When I'm 22, 23 years old, you're just, oh no, I'm going to see Jack White. I don't do country music. I'm not some old man. And it's like the day I turned 30, country music's on, and I just found my foot's tapping. I got a little snap going. All of a sudden,
Were you nodding at people?
All of a sudden,
or-
lifted Chevy trucks just
Mhm.
make a lot more sense to me. It just, I don't know. I don't know.
So was there one song in particular that
I think I was talking about gateway drugs earlier. What happened to me was probably about a year ago, Darius Rucker's Wagon Wheel, which I feel like is entry-level country music, right? Like that's country music light,
Yeah.
and I'm listening to that song. I'm like, man, this thing, I like this a lot. And I think once you listen to that a few times, you get a little deeper, right? And so that already got me accustomed to it. And then so you hear a harder hit, we'll say, harder country rock, right?
Yeah.
I don't know. It happened overnight, and I think I'm going to embrace it. I don't think I'm going to fight it. Honestly, I don't think I will. I think
no
that I'll
sense
just
fighting it?
No, I think that I'll accept that I may have changed, and if I come to work next week and I got a camo hat on, right? I got some Timberland boots, and just accept me for who I am.
The fisherman's vest, right?
We have some advice for you, Brad. From the other Brad in the chat, wait until you turn 40, Brad. LOL.
Yeah, what happens then?
Classical music.
Sinatra.
Yeah,
So I
no.
listen to Sinatra.
Neil White says getting older hurts a lot. So those of you in the chat, what's your guilty pleasure song? I'll tell you mine. Mine, I knew it immediately. Oh, Greg Hansel says wait till you're closing in on 50. Yeah. Max says Darius butchered that song. I guess he liked the Old Crow Medicine Show
Sorry,
version
man.
a little better. My song is by Miley Cyrus. It's called Wrecking Ball. You may have heard of it.
So Chris played that in his office, so he knows.
Yeah.
He knows for a fact how catchy it is. And so I was in there. Were you in there?
No, I
It was
wasn't.
me
You and Bryce.
and Bryce
And Ted.
and we're in his office, and Chris just turns around, starts playing the music video too. So she's on the she licking that?
Yeah, she's licking the hammer.
Had no business being played, and I've been telling you the rest of the day. She came in like a wrecking. That's my gift to all the people listening to.
It's a great song.
No, it's
Yeah.
awful,
Excellent.
awful.
Brad, the bearded guy, tells you, look up Aaron Lewis, the Stained lead singer turned country. And so add that to your playlist.
That's a crossover.
Ooh, Neil White has a good one. Guilty pleasure song is Kenny Loggins' Footloose.
Nothing guilty about that.
Yeah.
Nothing guilty about that.
That is a good one as well. Yeah, I enjoy that song. That's one I would never turn off. All right, let's see. Let's get to cars here for just a second. What is your next car? Someone wants to know here.
I guess I can go.
Okay.
I actually,
This is fresh, yeah.
yeah.
Mm.
Was it last weekend? Like I said,
Well,
I have terrible
Currently, what do you
memory.
have, by the way?
Okay, so currently I have a 2008 Mazda Speed 3 I've had it for 6 years almost now, and it's been great so far. It's fun. It's an underrated car. Handles really well. Has all the turbo whooshy noises. But I actually I think it was last weekend, put a deposit down for a Subaru BRZ, the new one. So I'm really excited for that. It'll be good to be back in a rear-wheel drive car. And of course it's manual. I got it in the Subaru Blue, the WR Blue Pearl.
And what's your expected delivery?
I don't know. They said fall, so it might be a little...
Fall of 24.
No, yeah, it better not be that long. No, usually, the model years for cars come out the, prior year in the fall. So hopefully in the fall. We'll see. But yeah, it's cool. I was able to pick all the options. Not that there's that many options, but yeah, I got the color I wanted and
Nice.
interior and stuff. So I'm really excited. This is my first new car, so it's kind of cool. The dealership's not going to touch it too, which is like the biggest thing. I was learning that from Matt. So I told him to call me as soon as it's there and off the trailer to call me. So then I'll book it over there and take delivery.
Excellent.
Yeah.
All right, Brad, what are you currently driving first?
So I'm currently driving, actually today, I drove a 2019 Ram, which is technically my wife's car.
Okay.
Even though it's in my name and I pay for it and all that, but it's her car, right? I'm just kidding.
Hi, Emily.
Hi, Emily. I also have an 06 Lexus. That is my to and from work. And then a few people in the OG sphere are familiar with my 83 Bronco, which I'm currently in battle with right now because it's carbureted and it's not behaving very well. So I haven't been able to drive it. I can drive it around town, but Obsessed Garage is 33 miles from my house. So I can't make that kind of trip in it right now.
What's the gas mileage on that again?
8.
Yeah.
8. It is the 351 Windsor, and it's 8 miles per gallon.
Very economical.
Well, on the turnpike, too, you have to go 80 miles an hour or you're going to get bulldozed, right? You're going to get run right over. So I'm wide open there, just flying.
What
right?
RPMs are you at on the highway then?
About 4.
Yeah, that's pretty high in a
it's
truck.
screaming.
Like
It's screaming. Well, I mean, it's a block on wheels, right?
Yeah.
And so my next car, I actually had a close call. So I just talked about the surgery that I had, and me and Waba were scheming. So I have a self-punishment for classic SUVs, right? I guess I just hate myself. And so I was looking into Isuzu Trooper had a variant called the Irmscher, okay? So if anyone's familiar with this, I'm going to be very surprised. And so there was one on Bring a Trailer about 3 weeks ago, and it actually, the day that it finished was the day of my surgery. And so I was out of surgery at around 10 a.m., and the auction finished around 2.
Like, I've never even heard of that car.
Oh, beauty. It's one of those ones, actually. I think it was... Anyway,
I
and
just
so
Googled.
That's kind of
more on it. It was on Bring a Trailer. It was sold in Orlando, was where the car was located, right? And it's not that expensive. It was short wheelbase, 2-door, comes in shorter long wheelbase, but that was a kind of a special trim that they did. So I've been on the lookout for that exact trim. This was technically not a Isuzu Trooper. This is an Isuzu Bighorn, which they sold it as a Bighorn in a bunch of different markets. And so it was right-hand drive, finger on the trigger. But I thought better of it simply because I was 2 hours out of surgery, right? I hardly even remember that day. I vaguely remember even doing that. I don't think that I would have, like right now, the thought of having that on top of all the Bronco projects I have to do, it would have been punishment for myself. So I'm glad I didn't do it. But then I had Waba. He's for 4-wheel Friday, bringing our 4-wheel drive cars on Friday. He's hyping me up. I'm like 2 hours out of surgery. He's texting me like, "Do it." I need some better influences,
All right, let's see here. We have James Clark had a Mazda Speed 3 as well. He had his from 2008 to 2019.
Nice.
Bradley Odette's guilty pleasure song is All Star by Smash Mouth. I know every single word. And then our own Kyle Henderson chimes in. I'm a little late, but Wrecking Ball makes a great cover song. So I get, or karaoke perhaps. I could see Kyle doing karaoke. That would be awesome. Brad, this is advice from Greg. Go with a Holly Sniper EFI for the Bronco. Not sure what that means.
Yeah,
but
I don't know if I want to go fuel injected because I want to stay period correct, right? But the carburetor is such a pain that after a while it's like I don't even care about being period correct. So maybe I'm getting closer.
All right, in the chat, Greg says Subaru BRZs are sick little sports cars. Tommy's going drifting. I can see that.
No, I got to keep the tires in good shape. I can't be blowing through tires like crazy.
Let's see. Okay, last one here. People want to know about the 4-Wheel Friday Club, says Alfredo Campo in the chat. So what exactly is the 4-Wheel Friday
Now's
Club?
your chance to shine, Brad.
4-Wheel Friday. I think
You mentioned it last time.
No, I did. Yeah. So,
But we need more details.
On Friday, only on Friday. Friday's when it counts the most. You can bring your 4-wheel drive car any day of the week, but there's a subset of members here at Obsessed Garage that drive 4-wheel drive cars. Very exclusive club. Very few of us. And we actually have, and I wish I had one on me, we have stickers just for members of that club. So Chris was a member of that club for a brief time.
I still have my sticker.
I haven't. I've been trying to revoke the sticker, but he hasn't given it to me. I think I may have to call a repo man or something like that to come rough you up. So we're down to I think 5 members, and we're not losing members because 4-wheel drive is not a valuable club. It's just becoming more exclusive.
That's a good way to think of it.
It's
Yeah.
becoming far more exclusive. And so the exclusivity is the draw of it. Yeah. And we have imitators. I'm not going to, give them the benefit of saying their name. But we actually have imitators in house for various car brands that they bring those cars on different days. It's a cheap knockoff. Right? It's the made in China version of 4-Wheel Friday. Right.
What did we decide about? Well, you said you don't want to say names. The red and /orange car. I can't see them color, but you know what car I'm talking about.
The Suzuki SX4.
Yeah.
It was close. He toes the line. That's the issue, and I feel bad for him because he's got selectable 4-wheel drive. It's called an SX4. I mean, it's getting close, right? But we just ultimately, it's not a 4-wheel drive car. Ultimately, it'll kick into all-wheel drive once you hit 30 miles an hour. He was so close though, close. Yeah. And ultimately, if he showed up on a 3-inch lift with a brush guard in it, who knows? Who knows?
Well, there's the next modification.
There's hope out there.
Yeah.
Let's see here. We have this. Ooh, Greg Hansel. He's old school. His song is "It Takes Two" from Rob Bass. That's a good song. That is a classic. Early '90s hip hop. James Clark said he would pay money for Kyle to sing Wrecking Ball on karaoke.
That'll
Maybe
be
a Hex blog idea.
Hex content. Yeah, we'll just have Kyle doing karaoke for an hour straight. Fantastic. No water either. Just have him keep singing. Yeah.
All right, before the next car question here from Obsessed Mobile Detailing, he wants to know, are any giveaways coming up soon? My Hex Plus membership just expired 2 days ago. I always end up renewing right before a giveaway and miss out on the opportunity to renew for entries.
Not imminently. So, if not, at least not for 2 to 3 months. So if you want to wait 3 or 4 months, that's you're right, but I would renew if I were you. It's going to be a few months.
Yeah, it's months, not weeks. Yeah. Oh, Ed is on the chat here. He says, "Okay, Brad. All right, whatever." So there you go. All right, this could make for a long-winded answer, so I'm going to go first. So I'll show you the way to do it correctly. So we have people talking about car progressions. Mm-hmm. Considering Matt's car progression, this is from Guy B32 in the chat, does he ever show a general interest in your own progressions, which leads into one of our questions about car progression. So the answer is no, he does not show an interest because he barely cares about his own. Definitely doesn't care about ours when it comes to car progressions. But here's mine. 1988 Dodge Ram 50 pickup truck.
When did you have it?
1994.
So relatively new truck.
Yeah, I had 130,000 miles. No power steering, no power brakes, no AC in Florida. That's why I never had a girlfriend. That's one small reason.
Have you been telling himself that?
88 Dodge Ram 50, 1988 Jeep Wrangler, 1998 Mustang GT, 2002 Hyundai Elantra, 2005 Ford Focus, the HOC, some people may remember, 2005 Toyota Camry, 2018 Ford F-150, 2001 Lexus LS430. There you go.
When you were 18, did you think that you would get progressively, that's a nice word for it, lamer as you went?
Yeah, the Jeeps are probably my height. Actually, I did have another Jeep in there. I forgot the other Jeep. It was a 99 Wrangler. That was like a second vehicle for a little while.
18-year-old Chris would be rolling over right now.
If 18-year-old Chris could have had an 01 Lexus LS430, man.
In 01?
Yeah, in 01. All right, so Tommy, car progression. Yours is probably a little smaller.
Yeah.
You haven't been driving as long as I have.
For cars that I myself has personally owned, Mazda Speed 3. That's it.
There you go.
So
Really?
Yeah. So I in high school, my parents gave me a car, and it was just their car. It was so I learned to drive on an F-150. It was a 2010 long bed crew cab. So it was a monster. And then when I went to college, my parents gave me just this beater car. It was a 2000 Acura TL with 155,000 miles or something like that. And blew the transmission on that. It's not because of my driving style or anything, of course not. And then my grandma was getting older, and she no longer could drive anymore. And so I took over when my Acura blew up. I took over her 94 Honda Civic, and blew the head gasket on that.
So then they stopped giving you cars.
It's like a theme here.
Yeah. And I honestly think the reason that blew, because like her car was immaculate for a 94 Honda Civic, like mechanically, like when I got
Grandma
it, was
didn't blow any head
perfect.
gaskets.
No, and it only had 100,000 miles on it from 94. So I was like, these things are supposed to go for 300, and yeah, it didn't.
Until
at
you
all.
take the 6,500 RPM every red light.
Yeah, the problem though is because it's so slow. Like to keep up with traffic, you literally had to floor it everywhere, and so I think that's part of the reason. Is
Yeah.
I legitimately floored it everywhere. Still got great gas mileage though. Like even flooring it, it was like maybe the high 20s. Like it's the worst it ever got. But yeah, and then after the Honda, then my Mazda.
Mazda. All right, Brad.
I think mine might actually be longer than yours, Chris, even though
Really?
Wouldn't surprise me.
even though I'm a lot younger than you, as you know. First car when I was 16, and I had to save up all summer to get this car. I paid $1,800 for a 1977 Triumph Spitfire, another carbureted machine, convertible.
Those are cool cars.
Yeah, it had 54 horsepower from the factory. So we're talking 30 years after that.
Yeah.
It truly couldn't go past 50 miles an hour. Not an exaggeration. It was I want to say a 3-speed, maybe a 4-speed. I can't remember. After that, a 76 Datsun 280Z, which is still in the family. My brother has that one. He's since put a turbo on it. 280Z. So it's been in the family for, I don't know, close to 20 years now. And then what did I have after that? I had a APR Stage 2 03 Jetta wagon that the previous owner put the Golf front end on, so it was a Jolf, and the previous owner had put Golf on the back, so it was a Jetta for all intents. But there's this whole subculture of you get your BBSs on there, and so it used to cause a problem because you'd go get any routine service, go get your tires rotated or something. There was, okay, your make model, and you tell them, they're like, well, sir, it's obviously a Golf. And we're like, well, first of all, then why'd you ask? All right, if you already know what you think it is. And so I'd always have to explain. So eventually, I just peeled the word Golf off because I wasn't into that scene. So got rid of that. After that was an 02 Audi TT 6-speed. The single worst car that I ever owned. Sorry to Manny, but it was every day was something else. It was some electrical, some fuse, something every single day. So got rid of that pretty quickly. I got that just because when you're growing up, everyone has their hero car that they wanted. Yeah. So when I was like 13, my dad owned like a speed shop, I guess you can call it, and so he had a guy getting work on what at the time was a new TT. So I thought it was the coolest thing, and I was like 13. He let me drive it around a little bit. We lived out in the middle of nowhere, so it didn't really matter. And I thought it was so great, but by the time you get your hero car, it's 10, 15 years later, and by then it's got 160,000 miles on it. So it wasn't nearly as cool by then. Yeah. And I learned that firsthand. So got rid of that. I got my first four-wheel Friday Express. It was a 1991 Isuzu Trooper. Incredible car. 90,000 miles on it. Had that for a while. I sold that. Wish I never did. Loved that car. Used that to get a Golf TDI 03. I take it back. That was the worst car I ever owned. Golf TDI.
Really?
Horrible car.
Those get good gas mileage.
Yeah, it got like 55 mpgs, which was great, but that doesn't help you when you're doing maintenance on it
on the side of the road
twice a month. And my first year, the car I paid $3,000 for, and I had like $2,500 in bills the first year. It's like, I'll go lease a Jetta for this money. You know what I mean?
Yep.
So sold that. I honestly I lose track of it. I had an XJ Cherokee in there, which I loved. I had, I had that Mach E. I had the Mustang Mach E. Yeah. That was short-lived. I was actually able to have it for a few months, and due to the EV tax credit, I kept it for a few months, sold it for $2,000 less than I had all in, and then come tax season, which is around right now, I got a $7,500 refund. So I ended up, whatever that math is, $5,500 in profit just for buying that thing. And after I sold it, I drove it for 4 months, right? Yeah. So pro tip for anybody out there, if you can find any cars that aren't on a market adjustment right now, you can make money on it. And then now I have a Lexus. I have an 83 Bronco. The Bronco is probably my favorite car that I've owned. The Lexus is toward the bottom of favorite cars that I've owned, but sorry, that was way too long. I apologize.
That's good. What makes you, because I know you prefer more four-wheel drive, off-roading stuff. What about that? Do you like over, say, sports cars and stuff like that?
I think it's purely aesthetic based, Tommy. I think most people, when you have a sports car or a big lifted country music style Chevy or a Wrangler or whatever you have, 98% of our usage is shared, right? Mm-hmm. We go to the gym, we go to the grocery store, we come to work, right? The 2% is the difference. So I think anybody should have that same answer. It's purely an identity thing when you buy a car, right? When you buy, when Matt gets any BMW he's got, he's a BMW guy, right? That's why he doesn't have a Corvette, right? Yeah. For short-lived. Yeah. I think it's just purely, I see myself as a guy in a classic 4x4. I don't know. I don't think it's any more complicated than that.
Yeah. So that's what my 1988 Dodge Ram 50 looked like.
Beautiful.
Right, and I wasn't as tall as I am now when I got it, but it was still a tight squeeze back in the day. That was a fun ride. It left me stranded more than once. Good choice, Greg says, on the Datsun 280Z. This is from Greg, I had a 78 280Z 2+2, whatever that means.
At the front, it's like 2+2 because there is a back seat, but not really,
And then Manny says the O2 TTs were horrible. Yes. I think anything from 97 to 02 VW Group had horrible electrical issues. My 01 Passat was horrendous.
I bought 3 of them for some reason. Again, glutton for punishment.
James said he went through 3 different ECUs with his cars. So, all right. Let's talk just a brief bit here about working an OG. Sure. So when it comes to that, what is I'm going to do this one instead. Actually, how did you find OG, first of all? And then, how did you end up here?
So, I guess I can go first.
All right, Tommy, you go first. How did you find OG?
Yeah. So, it's kind of a longer story, I guess. So, after college, I struggled to find work. And so, I was detailing cars on the side. And, I had a pretty good process and stuff just from kind of intuition or whatever. But, I knew that there was something better out there. And so, I watched a lot of Ammo NYC videos. And through that, found Matt. And from there, after watching Matt, I was like, hey, this guy's kind of cool. He tells it how it is. And I just started watching his YouTube videos and adopting some of his processes. And then I learned that there was a Facebook group. And so I joined the Facebook group. And I'm one of those that doesn't speak much. And so I think even to this day, I don't think I have that many posts in the Facebook group at all. But I'm a silent observer, and I take a lot of information in. And I got a lot of value out of the Facebook group. And again, just watching Matt and all the advice he had. And so when he said, hey, I'm looking for people to come work, I was like, okay, that seems kind of cool. And so I applied, and that's how I came to work here. I actually applied twice. So first time I applied was, I think, in December. And that's around the time you hired Jeff. And then I applied again in the springtime. And then at that time, I guess my name was called. And I was fortunate enough to come out here and work.
That would have been December of 19.
Yes.
And then in June of 2020 is when you started, right?
Yes. Yep.
Got it. So you've been here almost 2 years now.
Yeah, 2 years anniversary is coming up. It's crazy. It's weird. I feel like I've been here a long time. And then at the same time, oh my gosh, I just moved down here. So that's how I came to know of OG, and I guess how I started. That was kind of a funny story, I guess, moving down here.
From
Idaho. So yeah,
Okay.
sorry, yeah, I moved from Meridian, Idaho, just outside of Boise, the capital. I applied, and like as soon as I hit like send on the application, I was like, if I get this, I'm going. And so, like I probably shouldn't have. I like kind of secretly started packing, like getting all my clothes in order, and I was like, I'm gonna make this happen. Because at that time, I was out of work for quite a while, like a steady job anyway. And so I was like, it's time to get my life going here. And so, like I was dead set. And so, and that's might have been one of the reasons I was hired. Was like, I will literally do anything to make it work. Yeah. And so, Matt called me late. It was like 8 o'clock Idaho time, so it was like 10 here. And yeah, just over the phone interview, and he's like, I really like you. It seems like your head's in the right space, and I'll call you back in a couple days. And so the day he was supposed to call me back, he didn't, and so I was like freaking out, like, oh my god, I lost it. What am I gonna do with my life? And then so I just followed up, and I texted him. I was like, hey, what are you thinking? You want me? And he's like. And he called me back immediately. He's like, yeah, get here. And as soon as you can. I was like, oh, dang, okay. So we were here, like we were packed up, because I didn't bring much. I just brought clothes and like 2 tiny pieces of furniture. And it was just like whatever we could fit in our car. Yeah, exactly. And so it's like 5 days, I think. Yeah, 5 days from finding out I had it to I was like here. Yeah.
All right. Brad, how did you find OG, or did OG find you?
I like Tommy's answer because there's a common thread here of highly talented, high potential people that are just out of circumstance at the time.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? We've got a ton of people here that are extremely high achievers that were just maybe in between something or in an opportunity they didn't like. And just, I mean, every person that's come down here I've worked at a lot of places, I really have. And I've worked at places that are supposedly, highly educated, your Ivy League, whatever kind of people, and many of them are useless. And the people here are just they get after it, and so I love it. So Matt, I didn't know about Obsessed Garage. Actually, Matt found me.
I would say your story is probably the most unique out of everyone.
It probably just simply because usually, and for good reason, Matt just kind of says, "Hey, we're hiring," and there's plenty of people that are perfectly willing to work here. But I've actually known Matt since, I guess, around about the genesis of the business. Maybe not the YouTube channel, but of the business. And he met me through somebody, needed help just doing e-commerce. And so I've been helping businesses. I was self-employed for a long time, just helping people like Matt, just,
do business.
doing business,
Yeah.
right? Helping get found on the search engines and build good websites and do good practices and use your data to tell you what to do next rather than just doing something you feel like doing. That's a big one that I still do, is making sure that the things that are happening, we're making decisions based on what the data tells us to do rather than just what we're in the mood to do, which that alone gets you ahead of 90% of other businesses to just do what the science says. And so I met Matt, and I was doing some random projects for him, and my role with him just kept spinning up, and I had a portfolio of other businesses, and I had an office. I had my little LLC, and I had my own private little office, and I thought I was this, real well-to-do guy, and then, COVID hit,
Yeah.
and kind of put me back where I belong, right? Put me in my place. And so COVID hit, and my little self-employment imploded. I lost half my portfolio in 2 weeks, right? Seriously, it felt like the sky was falling.
Yeah, it's
and I
gotta be stressful.
applied for the Triple P funds, and they said I wasn't eligible, but then everybody I knew was having money fall from the sky, but they told me no. So I'm sure I did something wrong. But so I'm not, it's not a sob story. I wasn't like going broke or going homeless or anything like that. But, I went from, thinking that I was making a ton of money and I was this next hotshot to, man, I kind of feel like I'm back where I was a year ago. And so Matt and I were filming a podcast for Inside the Hex, I don't know, a year and a half ago. And before it starts, Matt just says, "Hey, I got a proposition for you." And I knew what he was going to say. And so we were back and forth for a few months on whether or not I'd come down here. And eventually we made it work. And so I think that makes my story unique and we've seen this in the YouTube comments. So we published me washing the Mach-E a while ago, and there was a fair amount of people. This guy can't even wash his car. This guy has no idea what he's doing. I'm just a little different than I don't know that filling. Imagine if you have an e-commerce business and you just hire a bunch of detailers to run it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
If you make an e-commerce business, you hire people that know e-commerce, right?
Yes.
Doesn't that make a little more sense?
No, and I think it's a good thing that you are different. Like if we had a bunch of
it just blew my mind. People were like, "Oh, this guy can't even wash his car." Like, I'm not. This isn't a mobile detailing service. Of course, I don't know how to. Like, that's a very secondary part of this thing here.
Yeah.
If that was the only requisite for building this place out, I don't think we'd be anywhere near where we are today if we're just hire a bunch of detailers.
Yeah. Now you offer a lot of, unique perspective because I don't know. I would say me and you almost are some of the most opposite thinking people in some things, and so I don't know. Like you call me out, and I don't know whenever I get stuck in whatever I'm doing, but
needing to know all the answers.
Yeah, needing to know all the answers exactly.
And I'm a just send it kind of guy. I'm like Matt in that respect. Just do it. We'll figure it out.
Exactly.
We'll figure it out.
But yeah, no, it's good, and I think I don't know. I feel like what we both our strong suits or whatever complement each other pretty well. But
wow.
it's definitely
this is beautiful.
Yeah. No, it's good though to have different. I mean, you talked about this, and we always go back to it. But the Mach-E video, like to have a different perspective is very important, and will make the business grow more. Because if everyone thinks the same, then there's going to be no kind of collaboration. Because we're like, oh yeah, that's right. It's like it's good to have, I don't know, like I said, different perspective.
Right.
All right, excellent. So let's see here. I want to get to this question. Given the choice, past or present, all of Matt's vehicles, which one would you take and why? If you could only choose one. My answer is easy. I'd take the new Raptor.
New Raptor.
Or the GT350.
Wait, the
I actually got to drive that one.
The gray Raptor that he currently has, or the blue one?
No, the gray one that he currently has.
Gray one. You like the gray one better than the blue one?
Mm-hmm.
Gotcha. Why? Color or?
It just looks.
I mean, it's newer.
Yeah,
that's
it's newer.
Cool.
It looks. I didn't really like that blue all that much on that truck.
Huh.
I do like that gray, and I just being a larger person, I enjoy a larger vehicle.
Yeah, definitely. It's hard because I haven't really driven all that many, but like I guess just from watching reviews and stuff and reading magazines and stuff, I would say the GT4 probably is my pick. I'd pick it over the GT3 because the idea of being mid-engined is, in my eyes, better balance, and I don't know, it's a little bit smaller. I like the color better.
That is a nice color. I like that. Gentian blue.
Yeah. So for me, it'd be the GT4.
All right, Brad.
I think the rational economist in me would say that if given the opportunity for someone to hand you over the keys to the car, you get the most expensive one, right? So maybe say the GT3.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go. Sell it.
Sell it. Get 3 Raptors. Sell you one of them, right?
There you go.
Yeah, I was fortunate enough to take a ride in the GT3 on the track before he got rid of it, and I mean that engine just screams. It's intense. It was really fun.
Yeah, I did a couple laps with him.
Yeah,
that was a lot of fun. I would like to have a car like that. Just I don't even know. Not for long.
Yeah.
Not for very long at all.
Yeah.
Just enough so 18-year-old Chris can be satisfied.
Yeah. There you go.
I would drive it for a month and be like, I've had my fill. Thanks.
Yeah.
Let's see. Greg Hansel wants to know, are any of the OG team veterans? Toda is.
Chris Toda. Yep.
Yeah, who works with Waba. I can't think of anyone else. Mostly probably because we skew younger here and have a much younger median age, shall we say, than most companies. But definitely Toda is. James Clark says, I remember Brad making the comment, OG has a lot of spec guys who are focused on the details of OG, but it's cool hearing Brad and Chris's perspective on things as it is different from Matt. Yeah, it's good to have a difference sometimes, because if you got 30 people all thinking the same thing, 29 of them are unnecessary.
We're kind of more rational thinkers, I would say. Kind of collect the whole picture rather than just the specific task we're trying to solve. That was to your point earlier. When Tommy tries to solve something, and I mean this in a really good way, he'll try to solve the core problem to its nth degree and not notice the other adjacent problems that solve may cause, right? Instead of looking at the whole image. So I think that's a great example of how we can complement each other, because you'll solve the problem, so whatever other problems form, who knows? But we'll solve that problem for sure.
Couple quick non-car questions. Frog Jam Motorsport on Instagram says, what live streaming software do we use on the Mac? It is OBS. I don't know what that stands for, but that's what it's called. Travis wants to know, when can we reserve our spot for the new OG Spotless system? It's still a ways out, Travis.
Yeah, we're still working on that.
Okay.
It's a lot of work. I don't know if anyone's been in product development that's listening, but you got to contact a lot of people, and there's a lot of planning stages that need to be put in place. So it's not just like, hey, we want to do this, and then, in a couple of weeks, hey, the product's live. There's a lot of reaching out and talking to different vendors and distributors and the manufacturers, and so yeah,
it's a very long process.
Yeah, it definitely is.
Travis also wants to know, when are the Press-All chemical resistant sprayers going to be back in stock, and why aren't you letting people reserve their spot?
Yeah, that's a tough one. So we get those directly from Germany. We want to let people reserve their spot on things that we have a good idea of when you're going to get it.
Yeah,
right? That's one of those things right now that we are having to communicate with Germany. They're having trouble getting space on a container. So right now, the way it's working for at least Europe to America shipments is they've got such a backlog. Every ship is completely full, completely loaded. So whereas we'll call it pre-COVID, you used to have to, you go to your logistics people, whoever it was, your broker, and they'd say, yeah, we got a boat for you tomorrow. When can you get your stuff here? There's always, I think I saw a stat like boat availability was like 13% pre-COVID, and now it's like 6% worldwide boat availability. So it's to the point now that you got to reserve your spot, right, to get a spot on the boat. Yeah. So those are still, I mean, they've been ordered, but those are still completely unshipped from Germany, never mind coming here, never mind going out to you. So it, we could do reserve your spot on it, but in reality, we have no way to set an expectation for it. So there's some products that we have done that with, but we don't like to do that. And so, just keep an eye out. We're optimistic about that. As soon as, I'll put it this way, as soon as we have a concrete ETA, we will allow it to be reserved. We won't necessarily wait until we have it before you can order it. But as soon as we even are sure that it's going to be on the way, then we'll open it up for you to reserve it. But that's, again, it's hard to say.
Yeah. There you go, Travis. Hope that helps. J Flynn 1000 on Instagram has an important question. Chris, I'm looking to get my dad a nice bottle of bourbon for Father's Day. I got him Blanton's for his birthday, which he loved. Any suggestions for something to follow up with?
This too.
Yeah, so here's the short answer, J Flynn. So Blanton's is made of Buffalo Trace. Buffalo Trace has a few different mash bills, which if you know enough about bourbon, you know what that is. So I found, so this is Blanton's right here. There are 4 other bottles that are from that exact same mash bill. They're different ages, different places in the warehouses. Blanton's all comes from the same warehouse, Warehouse H actually, but the simple answer is Hancock's Reserve. That's probably the best in terms of you actually being able to find it. Well, actually Ancient Age is, but you don't want to get them that. That would be an insult. So Elmer T. Lee, Rock Hill Farms are good options. Hancock's is probably your best option there.
This is so far over my head.
Yeah, see, that's what I feel like when Matt starts talking all of his stuff.
Cars, yeah.
One day me and Matt will have a bourbon podcast, and he'll know how I feel, and I don't know how he feels. James Clark chimes in, OBS is open broadcasting software. Thanks, James. I'm late, H. Nicholas says, but are there any updates on the E36? Also, he has lots of supply delays in his industry as well. Or her. E36. So what's the latest with the E36? Do we know?
It's sitting on the other side.
Yeah, I think it's just kind of in limbo right now because he just got the M2, so focus has been on that, and then also the low mile E92. There's a lot of upgrades there, so they did whole carbon plenum and intake on that, and then I think Figueira is actually changing the headers out right now on the E92.
Yeah, so short answer, E36. It's kind of taking a backseat for a while.
Yeah. No idea.
Yeah. Greg Hansel, are there any funny stories from starting OG or any inside funny stories about Matt? ?
Go ahead, Chris.
No, in the very beginning, my funny story that I like to tell, it's not really all that funny, but you might think it's funny. So it was Matt, Michelle, Ken, and Jana, his parents, and then Ted was part-time. So technically Ted was the first non-family employee. He was part-time. Then I was the first non-family full-time hire. And Matt and I had talked for over a year about me coming to work with them because we'd known each other since 2012. And so we gone back and forth, and we were in the middle of one of our weight loss challenges at the time, actually, which I won.
Which you
by
won.
the way. Yeah. The second of 2 consecutive victories. And so the first day I came to work was my 40th birthday, August 27, 2018. And so I brought my I-9 form, my W-4 form that he had sent to me and said, fill this out and bring it in. So I did that. And I handed it to him, and he looked at it, and he turned around and handed it back to me. He's like, all right, you figure out what to do with that now because you're HR and payroll and whatever else goes with that. And I was like, okay. And so in the beginning, it was mostly a lot of me and Matt coming up with ideas, me trying to figure out how to do it, and saying, do you have any idea how to do this? And he's like, no, figure it out. So that was mostly
We still do that.
the way things go.
it's
Yeah.
very much-
Only now I have to do less of that, which is nice because I have you guys here. You guys can figure it out. But I also had a lot of help along the way because we had a lot of followers who would help me out and show me what I was doing wrong and help me out. So that was good. Who do you look up to the most, whether at work or in your life, as a role model? That's a very good question there.
Need some thought for that one. That's
No, you think about
that's
that.
a deep one. What if we came back to that one?
Okay.
Maybe noodle on it
Yeah,
for
think
a
about
little
that. Let's see. What is something you wish you were better at when it comes to work?
bit. Ooh, yeah, I can do that one.
All right.
Bryce will attest to this. My artwork is second to everyone. It's bad, and so whenever I need to mock anything up or try to do any color matching or anything, it's bad. I have no eye for it. So I'm glad to have those guys here, but I wish that I could do any kind of mocking up, any kind of graphic design, anything whatsoever, but I can't.
Yeah. For me, it's kind of, we touched on it a little bit earlier. It's like if there's something to be solved, I can sometimes get too far into the weeds and not, like, I'm trying to perfect this exact thing to solve this exact thing rather than looking at the big picture to help the overall. And so I hope I'm getting better at it, but I would still say that's something I need to improve on the most is bigger picture thinking.
Yeah, what about you, Chris?
Let's see. Something
Chris is like, I can't think of anything. Just
sounds
about
better
perfect.
at. I could probably be a lot better when it comes to delegating certain tasks and giving up certain tasks that I've either just done for a while or that I enjoy doing. Some things I don't have a problem at all letting go of because I don't want to do them in the first place. But there are some things that I still enjoy that I'm like, oh, I kind of want to still do some of that. But
Yeah, I know PayPal's your favorite, right?
yeah, PayPal reconciling. When I can get someone here to do that, I will not argue. They can have that. All right, let's see. Ooh, here's a good question. Although this may take some thinking as well. But in your biopic film, which actor would play you? And what would the title be? That's a thinking question, the second one. But
Yeah.
who would you like to play you in a movie? That's the way we'll rephrase it to make it a little easier.
For me, I think Morgan Freeman's a no-brainer
Mhm.
for that one. I think I'd go with that. Mm-hmm.
That's the deep voice, right?
That's the voice.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, people tell me I look like Franco a little bit.
James Franco?
Yeah.
James
I
Franco?
think that is a good
Oh.
exercise to have somebody else tell you
Oh, yeah, that's good.
who
Yeah.
you look the most like.
Yeah.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
I could see that.
Hold on, I gotta look this up for Brad.
For me, mine's obviously
Oh, clear resemblance. there.
Brad
Yeah.
Pitt, Ryan Gosling, anyone.
No, here it is. This is what. So my daughter Caroline, who's 15 now, she worked here last summer, and she said this is exactly who Brad looked like.
Oh, so you have your answer then? Yeah, you
I
can.
haven't heard this yet.
Yeah.
Yeah. And she came to me. She's like, "Has anyone told him that that's what he looks like?" I was like, "I don't.
Well,
I don't think so."
That's the villain from The Incredibles. Right?
Yeah,
Yeah, like the
Syndrome
kid.
is his
Yeah,
name.
Syndrome. That's right.
Yeah.
Oh, that's funny.
So
You got to show the camera too.
Yeah.
So yeah, Google Syndrome from The Incredibles. That's who would play.
Is that your new nickname?
I think
Brad?
I might have. I think the problem is I might have a villainous demeanor, and so there could be a little bit of projection going on, which is fine.
So evidently that's
someone's got to be the bad guy. It is always me, actually. The referee. I am always the
Yeah.
bad guy. So maybe it's fine.
Brad would be well played by Matt Damon, says Bradley in the
Thank
chat.
you. Thank you.
I could see that.
John Cena, good. John Cena. Greg in the chat. That's awesome. Randy wants to know, will you be offering women's tees anytime in the future?
We used to have one. I thought. Didn't we used to have one?
No, I don't think so. It's always
Not
just
women
been
specific, no.
unisex, kind of just t-shirt. Yeah, it's not bad.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's
I guess.
2022. Anyone can wear any kind of t-shirt.
Yeah.
Man, come on.
Yeah.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, our audience is not real big on skewing in terms of it's like 98% male, probably.
Yeah.
Our audience isn't big on being female.
Yeah,
Our
that's what I
audience
was
is
trying to. There wouldn't be many teas sold if it came to women's. But who knows, Randy? That could be a niche market we just haven't reached yet.
No, I will say, so Whitney's worn some of our shirts, like, if
Yeah.
she's just, like, around the house, and she's like, whoa, these are comfortable. Like I said, they're comfortable.
They're,
So maybe there's a
all-
market there.
Just like everything else we sell, like we don't. It's not crap, you
No.
know. Like, so if anyone hasn't had one of these shirts, these are among the most comfortable shirts that I own,
Yeah.
Oh.
for sure.
And to draw another parallel to bourbon here, so women were an untapped group for a very long time in the bourbon world until the geniuses figured out that like 51% of the world's population is female.
Turns out, yeah.
Yeah. And there's an untapped market there.
Yeah.
The Bearded Veteran says we need some tank tops as well. All right. Tank tops
Yeah.
and women's shirts.
Bryce, are you taking notes? No.
Yeah, he's in the chat there.
They need to be pre-cut off, though. You know,
Yeah, exactly.
NASCAR style,
Yeah,
pre-cut off. They can work on the Bronco in them, you know,
There we go.
the
Right.
Budweiser.
Here's a good question when it comes to work. What's your favorite part about working at OG? What's your favorite thing about working here? Because while you're thinking, I'll frame it this way. So each of you have at least a 35, 40-minute drive to get here, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, my commute's
1
like
hour.
50,
Yeah.
1 hour.
Yeah, 50 minutes.
Okay, so closer to an hour.
Yeah.
So between where you live and here,
Mm-hmm.
there are thousands and thousands and tens of thousands of other jobs where you could stop and work if you really wanted to. But you pass every single one of them
7-Eleven.
to come here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, why would you do that? Why would you drive past all those other places and just keep on going and come here? What's your favorite thing to do here?
Probably just the culture and the community. Everyone here is, again, we kind of touched on it earlier, but it's like super driven. And so like when you're working alongside people that are also very driven and share the same goal of making this thing great, it's, I don't know, it's just a really cool, unique thing to be a part of. I don't have I don't have any experience actually. This is like really my first kind of real full-time job. And so I think I've been kind of lucky to have only experienced this, but I'm sure there's been a bunch of other people that, have worked in other places that weren't so great. But all I know is that I don't want to look for anything else. Like, and I don't know. Yeah. For me, it's not even just driving past, the places on my way from home to work. Like, I don't know, if I think back to when I was in Idaho, like I picked this out of any place in the country because I was, looking everywhere.
I can imagine the amount of businesses you drove by.
Yeah, exactly.
Tons of them.
Yeah, yeah.
Whitney's like, oh, what about there? You're in Kansas.
Yeah.
Stop there.
Exactly. No, yeah. For me, the number one would probably just the people here. I mean, everyone, like, I can honestly say, like, I'm friends with everyone that works here. And I don't think that's the case in pretty much anywhere else. Yeah.
All right, Brad, what do you like most about working at OG?
Mine's a little different than Tommy because I despise most of the people that are. I'm just kidding. No, that's a joke. That's a joke. So, for me, pressure is a good motivator, and let me elaborate on what I mean by that. So, my job here, it kind of circles around revenue, right? Making more money and aligning various people to make more money, including Matt. I mean, Matt's got a big part of us making money, so there's going to be times where it's managing down, there's going to be times where it's managing up to, hey Matt, these are some things that I think we need to do. And so when I say pressure, I think that there's a lot of jobs out there, I think most jobs out there where you are handed a task. Let's say they're great jobs, but let's say it's you're a nurse, a patient comes in and you go, you do the things that patient needs, and then you move on to the next one. It's a very clear hierarchy or path of where the work goes. You were a teacher, you may have some familiarity with that as well. The kids come in, you educate them to the best of your ability, and so it's a very, very clear path. And so I mentioned, I think I said something about economics earlier, so that's what I did in school. And what I really like is when the decisions that I or we make can move the graph up and down. You can very clearly see what your own effect was. So if, again, I'll just use the nurse example. If I'm, you probably get a lot out of, helping the patient, right? But the business itself, if I really bust it and I help more patients, or I do a much better job than the other nurses around me, Do I make more money? Maybe, maybe not. Does the business grow? If you're in a big hospital, it probably has no bearing on where the business is going, right? And so what I really like here is the decisions we make. We decide to, launch a new product. We decide to change the hierarchy of our navigation path. We decide how an email is going to look. All these little things. We decide the flavor of our videos. Wob has been testing that out lately, just changing how our videos feel. Being able to alter the direction of a business yourself, it comes with pressure, right? Because if you are unable to do that well, then you're probably going to be thrown out at some point in time, which would be completely fair, right? Especially if your job is to grow revenue. So I actually enjoy that. I've had jobs in the past. When I first came out of school, I think 10 years ago now, maybe 9 years ago, I had a logistics job. You schedule the truck, and the truck comes in, and then the truck drops off the stuff, and then it leaves. You schedule another truck. And sometimes you schedule a boat, and sometimes you schedule an airplane. But the stuff just comes in, and every week starts looking exactly the same. And if I really nail my routes, and I really do well, and all my products are just in time, and I get everything to be lean inventory, you really get no payout. But when you mess it up, you better when an assembly line shuts down, you better believe you hear about it, right? And so I enjoy the effect that we all have,
I like how
and
you
being able
said
to see it.
Yeah, and if now that I've had more time to think, if I had to pick a number 2,
Tommy's like his answer.
Yeah, yeah, honestly, but I have a little bit of experience with that. Like when a project I'm working on goes live and it's on the site, and I see people buying it, it's kind of cool. It's like, oh, I had a part in offering this and providing this thing to people
that people wanted,
and they're seeing it's valuable. So, I mean, it's been that way for the pressure washer project. That was cool. Littler stuff like the under cabinet lights. That was something I found and put in the store, and they're great. Recently, I'll do a little plug here. We just launched the Milwaukee section of the website yesterday. So if you haven't, check it out. Give it a lookaroo. And,
in the last 2 months, I'd say we're selling more Milwaukee than we ever have before.
Yeah.
To the point that I was skeptical.
Mm-hmm.
I had Jeff audit all of our prices, make sure we weren't lower than everybody else, and it was true on like one product, but for the vast majority of our catalog, we weren't lower than everybody else, and so it was great.
Yeah, so we've had the a la carte Milwaukee stuff available for, probably almost a
like
year
a year
now.
and a half.
Yeah, so quite a while, but now it's finally. There's like the master collection, right? Which is the master collection is everything Matt has, and then we're able to kind of distill it down into different types of tools and packages.
And the master collection, it's ideal, right? I know there's going to be plenty of people.
Yeah, you see the price, you're going to scoff.
They're going to look and they're going to see $21,000 and they're going to say, "What are these people on?" Right?
Exactly.
But it's a roadmap,
and
what we offer is of that master collection. There are dozens and dozens of other little collections that make that up. So if you're a carpenter, or if you just work on your cars, or if you're a metal worker or whatever, we have pieces of solutions for that. Now, if you want you certainly can. If you want to buy the master collection,
please do.
And it's there to buy. It's not. I'm not discouraging you from buying it, but what I'm saying is, its sole purpose isn't just to sell. Its sole purpose is to give you a roadmap. Legitimately, Matt has bought like every tool Milwaukee has, right? He bought them all. It's insane, right? And so it's a vetting process. You don't have to do this in the dark. Someone has checked this stuff out, right? Exactly. And especially now that we got Mike here, Mike's a real man, and he really looks at these tools, right? He really knows what's good, and so all this stuff is Mike approved. Tommy got all this stuff Mike F approved, so it's useful.
Exactly.
Let's see, a couple more things here. Going back to T-shirts for just a second. That bearded veteran says his wife steals his long sleeve all the time. I can believe that. My wife steals some as well. Let's see. Brad was great as King George in Hamilton, says Alien in the chat. So I looked at this is King George in Hamilton. I guess he's saying that you looked at.
I do see it, actually.
Yeah.
I do. I mean, the hair, I haven't had that hair since high school, but I see it.
What's his name? I don't see his name, but there you go. Let's see. I wanted to address one question here. So Randy says, no, I'm sorry, Randy. Max, thoughts on free/flat rate shipping? It would be nice. max to do that. However, so I did a quick little research here. So this is UPS only, and I'm looking back at our past 8 invoices for UPS, and on average, let's see, 20,000, 21,000, 20,000, 19, 23, 25, 17, 19. So it's around 20 grand a week is what we pay in UPS. Now that doesn't include USPS, so that's UPS only, and that's with our discounted rates. So if you do the math on 52 weeks a year times 20 grand, you get just over $1 million. So all that to say, we'd have to come up with that $1 million somewhere else if we were to just say, eat the shipping. All we'd really do is build it back into the price of what we're charging you and probably charge you more. And you'd end up spending more money, but you'd have free shipping, which some people like. But that's the actual numbers behind it. People really don't appreciate shipping cost until you have to ship something yourself. And when we have people ship stuff back to us, I think they kind of figure out that this isn't free. I've asked our UPS drivers at least a couple times, are they willing to work for free? And they're not, sadly. So the money has to come from somewhere.
Yeah.
And so unfortunately, that's just kind of the way we do things. But we don't overcharge. If we know something's going to cost $14.34 to ship it to California, we'll charge you about $14.34. Sometimes it'll be a little higher, sometimes it'll be a little bit lower.
Very close, though.
Yeah, it's super close.
Yeah.
We've gotten a lot better about that,
we
to be honest.
fine-tuned it quite a lot, especially recently, too. So, you've spent a lot of time, Brad, doing that.
Yeah, I've got thoughts. Can I
Definitely.
rant?
Go for it.
Oh, here's your rant. Here we
No,
go.
I think there's an expectation. So everybody wants quality, right? Everybody wants the best thing. But at least, maybe I'll say in America, maybe it's the whole world, there's an expectation of as cheap as you can possibly get it. And they're inherently, they're conflicting with one another, right? You can't have both. And so people have this expectation that when they shop, that they're going to find the product that's the absolute lowest price, and they're going to find the one that has the absolute free shipping, and they think that you're going to get it all. Maybe you're going to get fast shipping, you're going to get good customer service, you're going to get free shipping, and you're going to get a good quality product. All of those things. Yeah. I don't think that's likely. I think you're going to be giving up in some way. Yeah. And I also think that there's many businesses that are willing to do the free shipping to get the volume, right? Or make their margin as slim as possible so that I can get the sale before anybody else does. And it's not healthy, right?
Yeah,
it's not healthy. And so I know it sounds crazy because as the consumer, we've been taught that the business should want to bend over backward to get my business. I fundamentally don't agree with that. You always see the video online of the angry customer, right, yelling because I gave you the money and you did. But the exchange already happened. You got the thing and you paid the money. So we've each given each other something of equal value, right? So the exchange is over. I no longer owe you anything. You don't owe me anything. We've given each other, we've exchanged the value, right? And so I don't, this will weird people out, but I would rather not have the sale. We would rather not have the sale than have a unprofitable or barely profitable sale. Mm-hmm. And so, those customers, we get customers that'll email support and they'll say, hey, I found this cheaper at this other place and they have free shipping. Buy it.
Yeah.
Be rational. We're being rational as well. If price is your sole value, do the rational thing and go ahead and buy it. There's no reason to email us and say you found it lower somewhere because offering it as cheap as possible is not of interest to us. Yeah. Operating profitably and being a long-term healthy business sometimes requires not accepting business that isn't going to grow you in the long term. And so part of that for us is, I think it's unrealistic. Amazon has changed everybody's expectation because they use penetration pricing. Their whole shtick is putting everybody else out of business so you don't have any other option. So now everybody expects free shipping. But in what other industry do you expect, other than e-commerce, the business to bear every expense, to bear every bit of it, and then to give you free shipping, then give you a free return, and then the shipping needs to be there in 2 days, and when the product breaks, we send you a new one, and we don't even ask you if the other one, to give us the other one back, we just send you another one. No one else can do that. It's not realistic. A small business can't do that. And so now we have to play in that space where people don't want to exchange value. They want the stuff for as little money as possible. And fundamentally, I don't agree with that. Business is a relationship. We are exchanging value with one another. And so, for those people, for the, let's say 30% of the world, that price is their sole virtue. Price. We're just not the place for you. I'm sorry, we're just not. And we're not going to price match. We're not going to, every day we get people, hey, do you have any coupons? Do you have any free shipping? Hey, this other site has free shipping. Can you give me a coupon? No.
Yeah, go ahead, Tommy. What were you
I
gonna
was
say?
just gonna say, it's not like we mark up either. Like,
We try our best to be competitive. We really do. But we just
everything
charge
that
for shipping.
Everything I can think of in the store is pretty much at MAP. So, yeah, it's like pay for the shipping, and yeah, you're gonna get awesome support. Our support guys are amazing, and that team's growing quickly, and they've been killing it. And so, if you go somewhere else for the cheaper, I can guarantee you're not gonna get the same level of support.
We've seen pictures in the Facebook group of a Cox reel that somebody got off Amazon. That, I mean, it looked like somebody took a baseball bat to this thing.
Yeah.
It came from Amazon. And so now you have that whole thing where that's been on a shelf that came straight from wherever they manufacture it, came straight to the Amazon factory. It's been sitting on the floor. It's been moved. Most of those places have robots now. Robots bumping into it, putting it on the shelf, putting it back on the shelf, moving it again based on whatever the algorithm tells you to do. And by the time you get it, it's in an oversized box. I'm sure everybody's got something from Amazon where you get a little knick-knack that's in a 8-foot by 8-foot box, right? Yeah. And you wonder why. It's because the robot told them to, right? And so you get this Cox reel and it's so busted up. With us, like we open it up and look at it before we send it to you. Like we make sure you're getting a good thing. And so again, to my point is, you're giving up something, and it doesn't just apply to shopping at Obsessed Garage. When you go on Facebook Marketplace and you get the cheapest camera you can get your hands on, you're giving up something. When you go and you find the cheapest flight you can get on, and you're flying Spirit, you're giving up something. It's everything in life. You're giving up something to get that cheaper price. And so, if that's your main value sell, once again, Obsessed Garage is not the place for you.
And Max,
okay.
Max, who asked the question, clarified here in the chat, I think there's a mental expectation, maybe set by Amazon, for free/flat rate ship. I think building in the product cost, will reduce your cart abandonment. Wasn't suggesting you eat $1 million. Yeah.
Oh, I'm not yelling at you. I'm having
He's ranting against himself.
Yeah.
The thing I always laugh at too is people say Amazon is free shipping. It's not. You gotta, I don't know how much it is a year now, but you gotta
Prime.
pay. Yeah, Prime is like $120. It's not free. You're paying that. And so that mentality just doesn't make sense to me.
Let's see. Good suggestion from our friend Matt Duffy. Buy Inside the Hex, you'll get the best price and free shipping.
See, that's something we do.
That's very true.
That's a great point, Matt Duffy. Amazon, what they don't do is when you're a Hex member, you get 10% off and free shipping.
Yeah.
Prime doesn't get you 10% off, So we want to, thanks a lot. And is there any content of Jeff Bezos?
Yeah, exactly.
Any inside the Amazon?
Yeah.
Nope.
Yeah.
All right, and our big-headed friend James says, since I come down to Florida at least once a year, I'll balance getting my gallons whenever I'm near OG. Honor the source, visit with everyone, be part of the OG family.
We've got 5 gallons, too, if you want some 5 gallons.
I think James is in North Carolina. I think that's where he lives. Prime is now $145, says Greg. Yeah, that sounds about right. Ryan says, Obsessed Garage UK, please. Shipping is expensive, plus import fees. I know, very true. I've supported a few times, but just not feasible as much as I solely would like to support OG.
Soon.
Yeah, especially with all the laws in the UK specifically. I know things shot up with Brexit and everything. So.
Yeah, Ryan, we're working on that. Eventually, Canada, I think, is first on the list. But yeah, that's something that's a pain point for all of us. We don't really buy much. Like, I personally don't buy much from the UK, not because of fees and import things, just because they don't have any cool stuff over there. We have all the cool stuff here, so that's kind of part of the deal. You got to pay to get it.
Not a single cool thing came from England.
Yeah,
I can't think of anything. Unsweet tea. That's what you guys have.
Unsweet
except for us.
You have unsweet tea.
Yeah.
I enjoyed my time in London for a couple weeks back in 2000. Right, I'm just messing with you. One day I'll go back. All right, last question here. We'll wrap things up. Let's see. We'll end it on something completely unrelated to what we've had here. What is one place you've always wanted to travel to but have not yet been? My answer is easy. Iceland. It's on my list. Short version, I proofread like a 30-something page document. A guy had made a video. He had then had that transcribed by someone, and I had to go through all 30 pages to check for errors and make sure. And the whole time I was reading, I was like, this place sounds amazing. I need to go. So that's where I want to go. Iceland. It's on the list.
Go ahead, Tom.
For me, it's hard because like I know Switzerland has like some of the best driving roads, and so obviously being a car guy, it'd be really cool to bomb around on Swiss Alps roads. But yeah, their laws are really strict. So I don't know, somewhere in Europe with great roads. I'm sure if I will, go back and watch all the Top Gear episodes,
I
can
hear
find.
Ukraine's nice this time of year.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
Good roads there.
Mm-hmm.
For me, so I didn't touch on this. So I'm big into sailing, boating and sailing. So I don't have a boat right now because I sold mine before I moved here. But for me, it would be great to have like a 35, 40-foot catamaran and do the whole Pacific, which that's a 1-2 year thing. So I'd have to do that once I have more money or something later in life. But that'd always be a good one for me. Is going for Emily and I for our honeymoon. We went to the Cook Islands, Rarotonga, and it's all the things that you see. It's incredible. And so that'd always be cool for me, is the open ocean and just sailing. I think it'd be cool.
Yeah.
All right, somehow 109, 111 people have stuck around, so thank you all for doing that.
What about the mentors? Did you guys think on that at all? Like, or not mentor, but like your idol or whatever who you look up to?
So when we look up to Noah, we'll keep thinking, and that'll be in the Inside the Hex video. That's called a tease, ladies and gentlemen.
There you go.
One last question for our friend Big Head James needs big hats. I asked earlier, maybe I missed. Any updates on the Richardson hat stock? You heard anything on Richardson hats?
Only that stock has been even more difficult to find. I don't know what it is about.
I don't know if we're being deprioritized or what it is, but we get a special print from one supplier, and every time you ask, it's no, not yet, no, not yet. So
of all the things, surprisingly, like that might be the hardest thing to get is the hats.
The hats, yeah.
Out of everything, which is the weirdest thing to me.
It is weird, yeah.
We would love to have them, James, because as soon as they come in, they're all gone pretty quickly.
Yeah.
But
yeah,
we just can't get them, unfortunately.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so just again, for those of you who may have joined us late, so this is going to be kind of an ongoing thing on the Inside the Hex platform. This is a sneak peek today, just because Matt was out of town, so we wanted to try it, get some experience, see how it went. So hopefully you enjoyed. Those of you who chimed in the chat, participated, thank you for doing that. Thanks for supplying us with some more questions. The next video is, what did Toda say it was? The house trip video.
Yeah, in short.
And then I think there's a Prevost install video coming out soon as well. Matt will be back here next week, so hopefully lots more videos on him doing the stuff you guys like to see. Any parting words over there from either of you guys?
No.
10% off free shipping Inside the Hex.
Yeah.
See our faces.
Yeah, honestly, we probably undercharge for Inside the Hex, but we'll do a study on that.
No, I've done the study. We lose a lot of money on it. But,
okay. Yeah, we do undercharge.
It's okay.
So take advantage of that.
Exactly,
all right. Yeah. We will see you guys next week. Thanks for joining us.
Bye, guys.